What's going on, everyone? I'm here with my buddy Jose Cruz, dolphin painting, or maybe not, don't know yet. Maybe shark painting, Martha, who knows? What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
So in the transition period, so Jose's joined me before. My buddy from the Gathering of Florida Painters. Yeah, man. So you called the meeting. Let me know what's going on, man. What are we hitting on today?
Yeah, so it is still dolphin painting. I'm gonna be opening my own, essentially my own location, just closer to me. Um, we've talked about how I commute.
Right.
It's about an hour and a half. It'd be like the equivalent if you did business in Orlando,
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah,
You know
which
what
I
I mean?
wouldn't, which I would not do.
So, and it's because like it was kind of established, but there's really no foundation to the company,
Sure.
and now we keep hitting this brick wall. It's been really hard to like implement everything that we've talked about.
So what's
And
that brick wall? Just curious. Like, what have you been running into?
I think it's just like a vision thing with my business partner who happens to be my uncle, just as far as like our vision for the company and how we want to run things.
Sure.
Um, which is it's fine, but I still, have to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got pretty large
Sure.
expenses with two kids, house, family. Like it's
Right.
just
Right. It's just not working. Well, what I
it's
learned
not
is,
working. Yeah.
and unless you're hitting 1.5 million, to be honest with you, a partnership is like a part-time, it's like a full-time job, like in terms of like making like, I don't know, 60 to 70,000 a year.
Yeah.
So which would be double if you were on your own. So, and I think there's a time and a place for a partnership, but I just find that from my experience, man, hearing about it, it sounds like it's stressful financially, if the system isn't perfect, you know.
Exactly. And what happens is to make ends meet for both of us, essentially, we kind of have to pay ourselves a little more than what I would imagine most
Right.
owners are paying themselves. Like you've told me a couple of times when we sat down for dinner and when we've talked before on the podcast that like I should be getting a salary and bonuses every quarter, whatever the case may be, like
Right.
take a profit
Distribution.
share.
Right.
Yeah, every quarter. It's just we're not able to make that happen because there's two of us and we both have large expenses.
Right.
So I'm to the point now where I'm realizing like I have a pretty decent market here with the Treasure Coast, Port St. Lucie, Stewart, Palm City area. It's like one of the largest growing areas in Florida. Still have South Florida, Broward and Palm Beach counties, which are like
Well, I
two
mean, I
bordering
get all
markets.
that. Let's get down to the nitty, man. Like, how are you and your business partner going to amicably make this happen? And
I think with me doing my own thing, having my own crews up here and
well, the
taking
problem
projects
is
up
that
here.
you're keeping the company name the same, right?
I guess, yeah, it would be.
And I guess, are you or are you
Yeah,
not?
no, yeah, it would be,
All right.
yeah.
So is he getting any of the profits that you're going to be generating?
No, so that would
Then
no.
you need to change the name of the company. Like
Yeah,
that's a given. That should be step one. You need to rebrand.
okay.
Because that if you don't rebrand, then there's this, and I'm not questioning his character or what his intentions will be, once you become successful, but you're planning. And if you're not going in with the idea that you're going to be a $2 to $3 million painting company in the next 2 to 3, 4 years,
Yeah,
then you're not launching yourself appropriately, right? And if you're going in with the mindset of you're going to just keep the name of the company, let me make it clear, no one knows the name of your company and where you're going to be starting. So
right.
you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I think first of all, like for your independence, you need to change the name of the company. That's number one. And I
yeah,
think it's exciting. It's this one opportunity you get to do it. You know,
yeah.
what are your apprehensions toward that?
It's just like restarting everything,
You are.
and yeah, yeah.
You
So
are,
it's
but you're
like
not restart. But the cool thing is that you have this experience that you
right.
have had an opportunity to be a part of. But again, when you detach from a partnership, you can't take the name with you if the person who started the business came up with that name.
I understand that. I guess just because my reasoning behind it would be like, 'cause, you know, it is a family company, so I kind of thought that it would just make
I
more
don't think,
sense if I did.
can I make an assumption?
Yeah.
I don't think you've made it clear enough that you're 100% separating from this partnership rather than saying, hey, it's a branch. And I think you need to be clear, because if you're not, then there's going to be this gray area when you become very successful. Right.
Yeah.
And I just think you're at a point where you're kind of just getting a little frustrated. And who wouldn't? You're working an hour and a half away, bro. But,
Yeah.
and it could create some tension. Oh, you're starting a whole new business. Brother, I understand. But here's what I learned. And am I heading in the right direction? Should I stop?
Yeah. No, you're heading
All
right
right, here's
direction.
what
I don't want to, I feel like I don't want to burn any bridges, especially with
understood.
family.
Family,
And I
brother.
just like,
Jose, you're a good guy. You got a good heart. But let me tell you something, and you better take this to the piggy, bro. Okay. Your
yeah,
family, the kids in your household and your wife are the number one priority in your world. And if you don't have that straight in terms of finances and structure and all this, then nothing is straight, right? So
yeah,
you're making a decision for what matters most to you. And that might hurt some people's feelings, whether it's family, whether it's close friends, whatever, right? I think you contributed a lot to this endeavor initially, yes?
yeah,
And you probably improved it, yes?
yeah,
Okay. And it's not like you're leaving him hanging to dry. He's going to make more money than he's making now because he doesn't have to share it.
yeah, that's true.
Okay. So you need to focus on yourself right now, because both of the companies will be failing if you don't. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the tunnel, guess what? You could become very successful and then help out once you get the system down the way you believe in your mind that it needs to be, that you've been trying to implement that hasn't been getting done, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's spot on.
Okay. So you haven't had an opportunity to test your theories that you know from your training, what you've learned, your industry peers, the people that are mentoring you. You know, you've had an opportunity to soak up all this information. And what's happening is you aren't allowed or given the opportunity to pull the trigger the way you know you need to. There's a belief in you that's saying, we're not doing this the right way. And I know the reason why we're failing. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So when you have that sort of dynamic, okay, it's very smart of you to pivot. But if you're going to do it, you need to go all in. You need to rebrand 100%. If you don't rebrand, first of all, that's going to cause, again, this weird gray area of, are you still my business partner? Or are we partnerships? Then you got a money situation. I would rather you rip the Band-Aid off now when your business is worth nothing than have to deal with that later on, because I know you're going to be successful. You know you're going to be successful, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like, come on.
absolutely.
Like, you know, you're around the peers that are successful. You've seen it happen. But again, you got to rip the Band-Aid off, bro.
Okay. Now, all right, now Tanner, now that leads me into my next thing I wanted to talk to you about. So if you were if you were to rebrand, right, and you only had a few $1,000s, less than 5, what would the first quarter look like? Because that's where I'm like, I walked into something that was already established. I already had,
Okay.
like branding. I already had
All right.
like kind of a little bit of
Sure.
everything. I already had connections, networks, and now I'm in this market where I know a few people here.
All right.
I moved
Stop.
here.
I'm not going to hear this anymore. Jose, you know that it only takes you 1 or 2 jobs to get going. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? A rebrand is as simple as going online and getting a logo generator and coming up with a name. Do not compare yourself to people that have been in their brand and have rebranded a successful brand. That's different. Okay. You have to create your startup brand, which, you know, is probably going to be a little raunchy at first, low budget, whatever. You need to come up with a name that excites you and your family. I would get your wife involved, right? I think that's so important. You're a married man. I am too.
Yeah.
Okay. I think once you start getting your team involved locally, that's when it becomes fun. So make it a fun thing. How old are your kids?
My oldest one's about to turn 3, and my
Okay.
youngest one's 1.5.
Cool. Your 3-year-old might even contribute a little bit to the new name of the business, right? Then what you're going to do, okay, is you're going to get a website with your new branding and your new logo. And all this is going to create some excitement for you. And what it's going to do is it's going to start to motivate you more each step of the way, right? You get a logo, you get a website. All this is, I mean, we're talking, I don't know, $100 for it all, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to get your LLC again, $100. You're going to get your insurance, $100. I mean, and then at this point now, you have, again, I want you to think of it as if you're going into a new city. What would you do if you weren't rebranding? What if that was your task as a partner, was to bring Dolphin painting into the city that you're starting? Tell me what your first move would be.
To meet with
recruiting subs. You need to recruit help.
Yeah.
You got to get people to paint for you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one. So what do we need to do, right? So again, utilize the Facebook group. We talked about this. You know, what did Brad Ellison do? You know, reverse engineer what he did. He just utilized the Facebook group. Okay, he found subs, started interviewing immediately. You used to work for the #1 lead aggregator in the world. Okay?
Yeah.
So your first move should be what?
Getting some leads and getting some subs.
Get some leads. Look, say what you want about them. Angie Leads delivers leads. That's what they're good at, right? Okay. So again, I mean, we got to look at everything as you know, in simple fashion rather than you're starting from zero, because you're not. Somebody who just started their painting business today that didn't have a year worth of experience operating and managing crews and managing customers and managing leads and, you know, contributing with other industry pros, and like you're at an extreme advantage here.
I appreciate it. Yeah. No, yeah. I can see it. It's like I've failed so many times, and this is such a big jump that I'm like, that's why I wanted to talk to you, because I know you'd kick me in the ass.
Tell me an example of a failure.
Well, I mean, trying to figure out everything with Dolphin painting, I feel like.
I mean, I don't feel like you even had a good enough foundation to see if you judge that as a failure, you're going to have a skewed perception of what your capabilities are. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Because it wasn't a true try. You were an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not running a business. That's kind of just like corporate, like checking in. Like you weren't really boots on the ground. You never really saw what you're capable of. Right. So I think what you should look at that as is an internship, and you're ready to start your own now. You know, and again, first step is figuring out, okay, here's a couple things we need to figure out. W-2 or subs? Which one do you want?
It's going to have to be subs. I mean, I've
subs
painted
first,
before, but
and then you should transition to W-2. You're in Florida, year-round painting. Can't beat it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Step 2, get your leads, right? Then what you do is you have to, I mean, you're going to work so hard in the next month. You're going to time things. First thing you need to do is, again, you need to get your branding right. You need to, you know, we got to switch up your Dripjobs account. You got some things that you need to do.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this, man, you know, one thing that you need to do is make sure you're selling jobs and you're recruiting help. That's it. It's simple. And then what you do is when you get a job, you pair the job with the help, and then you collect the money. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And then you refine that process and you do it again. That's all I'm doing every day. I find the job, I find the help, and I connect them, and then I collect the money.
Yeah.
So, but the help is what's interesting. And it's like, dude, you have to look at how hard are you, how bad do you want this? I just want to know, like, what is the motivation behind all this?
Yeah. It's like,
are you tired of struggling financially?
Yeah, I'm absolutely tired.
Got kids, you know, they need things, your wife, like your bills, you're struggling.
Yeah. And this is like the one thing that I found that I'm like actually good at.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm just like, I don't really see any other options.
Okay, good. Wow.
Like
So
I
that
really,
means that you should double down on it, but there has to be, you know, I mean, there's got to be this, you know, dude, I grew up poor, dude. Like, so for me, I had that thing in me since I was like, as soon as I was allowed of age to work, that when I worked, it was as if I'll never be broke again. Like, I mean, struggle when I was a kid. So I saw what struggle looked like, and I saw what lack of resources did to my family. Right. So there's this certain, I don't know, this certain level in me where, you know, I won't drop below, but I'll tell you what, I run so hard every day. You could look at and say what you want about success and $1 million painting business, software company. It doesn't matter. For me, it's just like, I only have one gear, and it's the highest gear that I can go. And for you, I want you to audit that, because first of all, it starts with belief in yourself. Your self-talk right now is demotivating me. You've already mentioned how much of a fail you are, right? That's what you're telling yourself. And you're saying this is the only thing that I'm good at. Okay. Those two things are not true. Number one, it wasn't a failure. First of all, failure is like you did it and you made no money and you quit, right? That wasn't the case. You just didn't have the right system in place. Okay. So if I turn on my car and there's no gas, is that a failure? No, I'm just didn't put gas in the car. Right. So in the same breath, you also said this is the only thing I'm good at. Well, if you generalize being good at one thing, you're not going to be good at all the other aspects of business that you need to be good at. Right. So you are good at being resourceful because you're on this call with me. You found a way to be my friend.
Yeah.
You're a pretty good networker.
True.
You know You're good. You're pretty good over the phone on sales because you found a way to sell jobs an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Right. You're pretty good at motivating your uncle. Got to him to a certain point, probably changed his mindset a little bit and helped his business.
Yeah.
So you're pretty good. You're a pretty good consultant. Be careful what you say to yourself. Because you know what it'll do is it'll limit you. And then, when things get hard, you're going to start soaking into that self-doubt, right? That the stuff that tells you, oh man, I shouldn't even be here. I'm going to go back to Angie Lee's and cold call freaking contractors.
Right.
But you see the potential of what you could do. You're seeing your friends make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And you want a part of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, bro, I like you, man. I think you're a good guy, dude, connecting with you. And just, I think you have a certain, presence about yourself that's trustworthy. It's honest. You just want to take care of your family. And I'm all about that, but I'll tell you something, dude, you need to learn how to be resourceful.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't make excuses for this. And you know what being resourceful is? And I'm going to put this in a practical fashion for you, right? It's finding the subs, finding the jobs. Create a company name today. Go online, get a logo, which anyone can do. Okay.
Right.
Announce it to the world that you've rebranded. Do not worry about what your uncle thinks. So it's not his. At this point, you have to make it clear. You might want to call him for, I don't care what you do, but the people in your home that you go to bed every night and they're there, that's who matters the most. And if you build your life thinking about what other people think, whether they're family or not, okay, then you will not have the life you want. You'll have the life that you think other people want for you.
I hear you.
I'm a people pleaser. That was one of my detriments as a business owner. And it's hard because I grew up in a household where I was fighting for the love of my mother and my father, and like that transitioned into adulthood. So I know what it feels like to want to make sure everyone's happy around me. You understand? But when it comes to business, I had to learn to separate that, because guess what? I was the one who was unhappy trying to make everyone else happy. So I fired my own father. You know how hard that was?
Yeah, I could imagine pretty hard.
Okay. Pretty hard, right? So I've been through that and I know what it's like to separate business and family. That's going to be step one. Then it's being resourceful. And right now you need a direction to go in. You need a new brand to help push you through. You take an old dog and try to put him into a new market that, no, can't do that.
Yeah.
Got a name picked out?
I do. I have some ideas, but
haven't you? All right. What's the name?
I like Paint 772. 772 is the area code around here. I think that it tells you.
I don't like it. That limits you. Don't use that name. You know why? Because guess what? If you're thinking big, what happens when you go to Georgia? And you know why I can call you out on that? Because guess what? When you did your Dripjobs testimonial, what'd you say?
If I wanted to branch out or,
that's right.
or make a franchise.
That's right. That's right. So you already have that deep inside you that's one of your goals. Right. So don't limit yourself to an area code, because guess what? They're going to be like, what's 772? Now, if that has some other meaning other than the area code that you're in,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Take your time. Yeah. Think about the name, but don't think of it in a small fashion. Okay. Think of it in a big fashion.
I hear you.
Okay. And again, I'm just giving you insight from the perspective of, I see you growing beyond one town, one city, and that's how you should see it too.
Yeah, definitely.
What other questions, man?
No, I think we hit everything that I had going on.
What's your next move?
Talk to my wife when I go back inside.
Are you fired up?
Yeah, I definitely see everything. Like I could make a plan and get to it. hiring subs or interviewing them or,
That's the
you know,
fun part. I would go to Sherwin-Williams. Start there.
yeah. And
Start there.
there's 2 Regal paint centers here in
Oh, beautiful. Guys, I love those guys.
yeah, there's
And
2
you know
of
what you
them.
should do? You should meet with Tyler.
Yeah.
Are you friends with Tyler?
I've met him before. I'm not.
Yeah. And I would say, listen, man, this is my goal. This is what I'm trying to do, and utilize their network. You know, say I was at the Florida gathering of Florida painters. I want to go all in with you guys. That's resourcefulness. You know, that's going in and saying, look, and you got to, and dude, listen, you have to have that belief system tight about who you are and what you can accomplish, because business is hard, bro. There's times where I can't even tell you how many times I wanted to give up, quit, turn in the towel, pissed off customers, jobs turning out horrible, you know, guys not doing what they're supposed to, guys not showing up on time, guys doing things they weren't supposed to be doing on my job sites. You know, I remember one time, and just to give you an idea, like I think I was a year and a half in, I decided to pop up on a job, you know, just to see how it was doing. And sometimes I just go, right? It's not the best. Look, at the end of the day, business, right?
Right.
Go to the job. I don't see the guys working. I'm like, where are they? But their cars are there, right? I'm like, this is weird. So I'm walking around the house, dude. They're coddled up in a corner smoking. You know what they're smoking?
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it, dude. They're all stoned out of their minds on my job. Okay. You know, so, and that was my only crew.
Yeah.
This was premium painting at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to have that belief system in you that can audit yourself, but also know that people have done this before you. They've become successful, and it does require going through this. You have not been a business owner yet. You've been an accessory to a business owner. So you're going to learn a lot of things, like when everything falls on your shoulders. So start small. Do not try to, one of the mistakes that you might make is trying to get to where you were with Dolphin painting. You have customers calling, you have a system in place. Do not compare your new business to this. Compare to what you did yesterday. And did you improve? Yes or no? No. Okay, cool. Did you get a sub today? Cool. Did you find 2 guys that you trust that can, and when you go in with these subs, you need to sell them. You don't just say, hey, we're just starting out. Like, it's all about how you come about it. Hey, I have a ton of jobs. I need high quality painters to come and do them. We're coming up from Miami or whatever it is, right? Like, and then you build that, and then you align whatever that promise is with, you know, what you deliver. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Awesome,
right,
man. I really appreciate it, Tanner.
Yeah, of course, bro. I hope this was helpful, man. And I know you're going to be successful, man. Good luck.
I appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, bro. See you.
Later.